Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a card that is my entry for the current Hello Bluebird Halloween challenge. This month there is a new Hello Bluebird challenge and I'm earlier than last time. So the challenge is actually to create a Halloween themed card or to use the color scheme that they are proposing with 4 colors, or to combine both of them. Now I am using the theme today, so I'm just creating a Halloween themed card. I'm creating a monochrome Halloween card today, all purples. Purple is one of the colors in the color scheme, but of course I am just complying with the theme itself and not with all the proposed colors. So I wanted to share this as quick as possible, so I really did my best after creating this card to do the editing and share it here today with you, so that hopefully you get inspired and you get crafting, and maybe you're one of the lucky winners. Well, there's one winner every month and they are randomly picked, so just play along if you have a few Halloween kind of stems from Hello Bluebird that you can use for this challenge. Have fun, or if you don't have Halloween stems, you can just create a card with the 4 colors without including any Halloween themed images even. So many options. For my card today I have die cut an A2 size panel and I'm first creating my background. Now to help me with my background I have the nighttime sky stencil from long font to help me. If you don't have this one, you can always take a circular stencil or a die cut piece that you have and use that as a stencil, okay? Just something circular, and then we create a really big moon on this background. Now for the inks, I started with tumbled glass. I know it's not purple, but you will barely see that there is any tumbled glass around it, but I just wanted to have some kind of a glow, and in the end I just kept adding all the purple, so it's not that visible anymore. Now for the purples I'm using Seedless Preserves, Dusty Concord, and I'm also using black Soot because I said it many times before, it might be scary to add that black Soot just on the edges, but it truly helps with deepening your background and to really let everything pop. So I'm just building things up here. I'm starting really light, but I'm going to keep adding layers until I have a really vibrant purple background. And as you can see, I have this really light purple around the moon, and then I'm just building it up from there. So I'm going to darken that really a lot. And as you can see here, it's something that I really love about the distress inks. They might be less forgiving, but if you go over a kind of muted darker color with a vibrant one like the Seedless Preserves, it really warms up the color like Dusty Concord, and it just gives this a really vibrant look, and I love that for it. So I'm going to keep building up this background, and as I said, adding a black. I'm just keeping in mind where the moon is, and really I'm holding like that shape while I go around with all of the ink, so that I still have that really soft purple around the moon, and then a really deep one around the edges of my panel. I also use some purple tape, as you can see. That's just because I have these stitching details on my panel from die cutting it, and I really love holding or keeping them white. So that's why I do that, but you don't need to, or depending on your panel, you don't need to either. Now for the moon, in this stencil there is also, well, these dots. You can create a more realistic moon maybe. A moon never or barely ever is completely white, so therefore I use that, and then this the negative or the positive from the moon I use just to give it a bit of color, but not too much either. Now to create some stars, I am using my favorite white gouache. It's from Winsor & Newton. I must admit it's my favorite, but I just don't have any other white gouache because I purchased this one really a while back, like at the start of my card making hobby, and I'm really happy about it, so I love it for it. You probably also have your favorite gouache, but just adding stars. I must love the moon because the moon is well, giving a light, and then the stars will be all around, so that's why I avoided splattering any gouache on the moon, and that is going to be my background. Really simple, but I think with a lot of impact. And if you don't have this stencil, no worries, there are many ways to recreate this. Just die cut a circle out of some paper, you have the circle, you have the negative, and for those dots you can draw them in yourself. It's something that I prefer doing with a stencil, but I did it in the past as well, so you can definitely, if you don't have this stencil, recreate a similar card easily by the supplies you might already have at home. So that is my background, and then I will take my my stamps that I will be using today. So for today's card, I am using these spooky spellers from Hello Bluebird. I actually purchased this one, I think, with the Black Friday from last year, and some other Halloween stamps. So maybe I can get another Halloween card done, I don't know, but I have never used this stamp set actually. So I'm glad about this challenge, because like this, I'm creating a Halloween card, which I don't do often, but I promise there will be more, well, or one or two, not too much either. But I love these beds. I must admit, I also have the Frightful Biddies, I think that it's called, with all those spooky kind of images, and then also a few beds. I just adore them. They're so cute. Now, in this case, I stamped the same bed 3 times. And I'm going to color them all 3 exactly the same. So I'm just showing you one, then I will die cut all 3. We will play with placement and find a sentiment to add to the card. But I'm not going to show you all of the repetition. I don't think that's really useful. But I'm using the same combinations. If you want to revisit Copics, they are today, because they are really limited, in the description box, but also my blog post, easy for reference. Well, you can also use other critters. There are tons of cute critters in this set. The only thing was that I really want to play with this night sky on the top, well, on the complete panel, you know. And so there are a few that are standing on the ground, so I didn't went for those. But so cute, these images. And then there are also some letters in this stamp set, so you can stamp letters on the well, papers that they are holding, or the other critters are holding, and it's really a ton of fun. So I'm going to spell later on Boo, so B-O-O, on each of them, so that I have Boo on my card, and then I search for a sentiment that was fitting with Boo. Now, to just give this paper also a bit of color, I just did a bit of flicking here. I'm going to let it fade out into the white. Really simple, and that is actually the coloring for these images. So I will now die cut them. Well, no, I will first stamp the letters. So as you can see, I completely colored them the same, also shadowing. I didn't change that up, and now I'm just letting, well, I'm putting those letters correctly, or as good as possible. Then I will stamp them out, and we can play with these critters on our background. So there we go. I'm going to do that a few times just to get a good impression. I never use these stamps, and I'm not a stamp prepper in any kind, so I just need to stamp it multiple times. I already know, so I'm just doing that. You can also die cut the letters and add them on top if you want to, as you can see here with the matching dies, but I stamped them out. Now here I had no clue how I was going to turn my panel, but I just wanted to show you this, because as you can see, there are many ways to create this card, to have some fun with placement. There are so many possibilities. You can even add more, but the number 3 in the amount of critters, I just love that. So 3 is the way to go for me, and that rhymes, so it's true. So I just turned and twisted everything. In the end, my, like this, my moon is on the upper left corner. I'm just playing around. I didn't want them to be completely straight next to each other, what you can also do, because that would create a really clean and simple card. You don't need to create a big background if you don't want to. Just add these 3 next to each other. Can be a really fun card as well. Now for the sentiment, I went to the Itty Bitty booth, which is a really basic sentiment stem set for my favorite things. They have many itty bitty or bitty, and then another word for the occasion, stems, and I just love them. If you don't know what sentiment you need, you just look for the one that has the theme of your card, and you will find a sentiment that works. Now, since I added boo to the papers, I ended up using the sentiment "You're beautiful," and I think it's adorable. You're repeating the boo from the bats in this tiny strip. I will die cut it with the itty bitty strips, by the way. It's a basic that is, well, that works with the itty bitties. And I just love a die for my sentiment strips because I'm the worst with trimming things to strip. It is always crooked and my head doesn't want that. So I need a die for that. I am putting my images on this panel using some thin foam squares. I'm trying to have them as crooked as I placed them originally. If you are unsure about being able to place them exactly as you planned them, use some present seal maybe. That can really help. I think here I was just a tiny bit too lazy to get that out. But that is definitely an option to help you with placement, and then you can place it exactly as you intended to before. So I'm already onto my final one here, and I must admit the hardest part is still to come because I had this lovely sentiment, but actually I must admit that these three critters with bamboo, or any critter that you would use, any word that you're creating, it might be already enough. So I just kept going, finding a place where I like the sentiment, but I think the card is strong enough on its own as well. I don't know about you, do you like to add a sentiment as well, like I did here, or would you have left it just without? Because I think both work, and I truly searched quite a long time to find a place where I was like, okay, here it is not too far away from the critters, but it's also not taking away of the attention or the beauty from the background, you know. So I used my T-square ruler here to make sure that it was horizontal, and then I press it down really well. Now I'm just going to add this card to a card base, and then this card is completely finished. I'm not adding any embellishment. I think the stars by the white splatters are already details enough in the back. And I just truly love how this card turned out in all the purples. So don't forget, there is a Hello Bluebird Halloween challenge going on. Or you do the theme, or you use the color combination that they give you, or a combination, but just have fun. I hope that I can inspire you. There is still a lot of time to join this challenge, to have fun with your Hello Bluebird products. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!